Good morning. Thank you very much for introducing me and giving me the opportunity to talk. I would like to tell you the first research results of the WSAVA survey. Okay, I would like to tell you our goal and methodology, top line findings, because we asked a lot of questions and I can't tell you all results. And I would like to tell you about the VetsinMind app. And of course, we have 5 minutes for questions. I'm co-chair of the WSAVA Professional Wellness Group, and the goal of that is to create and to improve a health and mental well-being of veterinarians, but not only of veterinarians, of all members of the veterinary team. And what we wanted to do, and that was one of our first actions, was to do a survey to see if professional wellness issues are issues everywhere around the world. Because a lot of people told me, well, in Asia, you know, there are no mental health issues. You never hear anything about it, so it's not there. It's only in the United States and England and the Netherlands, but not in Asia, and also not in South America. So we wanted to know if that was really the case. So we launched a survey and we started last year in September. In Singapore we had our World Conference there. And it was in total filled in by 4,258 professionals from the veterinary practice all around the world. And we started to do research and analysis of it. And I would like to thank my co-workers, Dr. Hein van Lith, he's my statistician, Angela Vrij, she's my student, and Vicky Lim, she's also a member of the Professional Wellness Group. How did we do it? It was an online survey, and I know a lot of people think, yeah, well, online, only the people who are having problems will fill it in, and to a certain extent, you're right. But this was for us the way to do it at this moment. It was launched in Singapore, like I said. It was translated in 6 languages. It was translated in Chinese and Mandarin, in Spanish, in Portuguese, in Korean, and in French, and in Russian. Yes. And of course, we started with the English version because we wanted to involve as many veterinarians as we could. And it closed 31st of December last year. The areas we explored were demographic details, and as you maybe know, there was a Merck study done, and I'm very happy that's one of the people who did it is here sitting. And they used the Kessler 6 psychological distress scale, and we liked it because these are 6 questions, and it's a validated research instrument. It's only validated, and that's true, in English, so all the other languages not, but this was the best we had. We used the satisfaction with life scale, and also the satisfaction with the career scale. Okay, demographic breakdown. We had females and males, you see breakdown. Of course, more females than males. The age was a very large range, and the occupation, mainly veterinarians, but we also had veterinary nurses or vet techs or whatever you want to call them, and veterinary students, but that was only a very small proportion, so we left them out of the analysis, not because we don't think they're important, they're very important, but we have the IVSA, the International Veterinary Student Association, and the chair is Elwin van Oldruitenburg, and he's a student of me in Utrecht. So they will do a special questionnaire for vet students. This was the breakdown, and as you can see, the most respondents came from Europe, and that was also because we had a lot of respondents from Russia. This was very unexpected, but we had a lot of them. North America, Asia, Oceania, South America, and Africa. Those were not very many. Okay, we did the Kessler Psychological Distress Scale. I hope you can see it. And we had a cut-off point of 13. So the higher you score on the Kessler, the more or the less well your mental well-being is. And 13, like the Merck study also did, that was the cut-off point. And you see Europe, Asia, North America, South America, Oceania, and Africa, and the statistical results showed that there weren't any significant differences between them. If you only took this in the statistician, then it was, but if you also put in with multiple comparisons also the gender and if they were veterinarians or vet techs, then the differences disappeared. Here you see it again. The red are the nurses, and the blue are the veterinarians, and the cut-off point is 13. So from here, oh sorry, I shouldn't move, but I move. From here to there, then you're really at risk, and you see that especially vet nurses are really at risk. So I'm very glad that WSAVA also has some organizations, for instance, North America veterinary nurse associations in the organization now. We also looked at gender, females and males, and again you see the cutoff point is 13 here, and then you see that females are more at risk than males. So the key findings are that Oceania is the highest performing region in terms of veterinary well-being, but it's not significantly different from the others. Well-being is particularly an issue in Asia, Africa, Europe, and North America. Veterinary nurses or techs are experiencing a significantly higher volume of well-being issues. And it's also the younger members of the profession that are at risk. So some people say, well, maybe the younger veterinarians do it much better because it's better in the curriculum, the study is maybe better, there's more attention for it, but this study says that at this moment that's not the case. Okay, we also looked at the satisfaction with career scale, and there we did find significant differences. And then you see that South America, although we did have less respondents there, did it much better than the others, and that was significant. It's also different from Europe, and you can see Asia, they also have, because here the higher you score, the more satisfied you are. With the Kessler, it is the higher you score, the worse your well-being is, but here, the higher you score, the more satisfaction with your career you have. So the key findings with this were older respondents are significantly more satisfied with their career. Veterinarians are significantly more satisfied with their career than vet nurses. And the mental health of younger members of the profession is seriously at risk. And I think you can explain it because if you're not happy in your profession, you will be burned out and you will leave the profession. You will start doing something completely different, or you start teaching, which is nice, but maybe you want to be a practitioner or something else, or you work in industry. I don't say there are no mental health issues there, but then you get out of the practice or you start doing something completely different. Okay, we also asked, how many colleagues in your country do you believe have issues with their mental health? And it's a table, and people could fill in from 0 to 5, 6 to 10, 12, 20, etc. And it was especially interesting to see higher than 25%, more than 50%, and more than 75%. And this is a bit shocking, or at least when I saw this figure, I thought, wow, that's huge. Because if you look in North America, the respondents said more than 50%, 42% say it's more than 50%. and 14% say even 75% of the profession is at risk. And that's really an awful large number. It's a little bit less in Europe, but still also very high. And what's interesting is if you look at Asia, they are much lower. That's 0 to 5, that's 25%. So they have it lower. So is it true then that their mental health is better? No, I don't think so. But I think we are speaking also today about awareness, that people trust themselves to talk about their mental health issues. And I think in Asia and Oceania and Africa, that's even less than maybe here in Europe. You're still Europe, aren't you? Sorry. But I think, and also I know in the Netherlands, because I also have my psychology practice, that a lot of veterinarians, but also vet students, find it very difficult to talk about their mental health issue, and they look around and they say, well, you can't tell anyone because otherwise I won't have a job, or no one will hire me, or all this sort of things. So it's a bit scary still to talk about it, but I think in Asia and Africa it's even more scary to talk about it. And this is, I'm sorry, I'm also a little bit of a scientist. Here you can see, if you look at the blue and the green, then you can see, sorry, I'm walking away, that blue and green in Asia is only a small portion, but if you look at North America, the blue and the green, that's a very large portion. And there are significant differences. Okay, these were some snapshots of the comments we received, and I won't read them because we don't have the time, but then you can see it's everywhere. It's in veterinarians, but also in vet nurses, and they really have problems, and I think we should do something about it. Okay, I come to my summary. Am I still on time?
You are? Yeah.
Good. Thank you. There is no significant difference in mental well-being between the regions in the world, so it's everywhere. But if you look, the issues are different. I think in North America, especially the student debt is really an issue that makes life difficult for veterinarians. And I think in Asia, the problem is there you're not allowed to talk about that sort of thing. So you're very lonely, even more lonelier than you are here in the Western world. In Asia and Africa, there is a reluctance to talk about mental health issues. Younger people, females, and veterinary nurses are more at risk for mental health problems. That doesn't say that other people are not at risk, and everyone can be at risk, but if you look who is the most, then we really should look at that. And also at veterinary nurses, they very often feel that they are forgotten in this discussion about mental health issues. And I think they're very valuable to the vet practice, so we really should take care of that too. And the high level of responses, because to be honest, we never thought we had so many responses. WSAVA is doing a lot of surveys, but this was the survey that received the most responses. So it's something that's there, and if you post something about mental well-being, those posts also on social media, they're liked or looked at the most. So it's something that's that people are really interested in, and I think this is the time to do something about it. Okay, so do something about it, because that's research is nice, and we know it's a problem, but what are we going to do about it? Well, we are making the VetsinMind app, and this is the logo. So Mark Johnston, who's here, and me, we are working to do something, and the VetsinMind app is something that you can have on your smartphone if you are in problems, that you know you can read stories of other veterinarians that are having problems and how they overcome it, but also information, phone numbers, so people know what to do. So we're working on it, and we hope that within a couple of months it will be finished. So please look for that and then download it on your smartphone. And one of the goals is that you can find information and also to reduce the stigma about it. Okay, yes, thank you.